Sir Walter Scott's Legend of the Wars of Montrose, which is from Tales of My Landlord 3, Volume 3, and I'm now reading Chapter 5. Thereby so fearless and so fell he grew, that his own sire and master of his guise did often tremble at his horrid view, and oft for dread of hurt would him advise the angry beasts not rashly to despise, nor too much to provoke, for he would learn the lion stoop to him in lowly wise, a lesson hard, and make the libbard stern leave roaring when in rage he for revenge did earn. Spenser. Notwithstanding the proverbial Epicureanism of the English proverbial, that is to say, in Scotland at the period, the English visitors made no figure whatever of the entertainment compared with the portentous veracity of Captain Dalgetty, although that gallant soldier had already displayed much steadiness and pertinacity in his attack upon the refreshment set before them at their entrance, by way of forlorn hope. He spoke to no one during the time of his meal, and it was not until the victuals were nearly withdrawn from the table that he gratified the rest of the company, who had watched him with some surprise, with an account of the reasons why he ate so very fast and so very long. The former quality, he said, he had acquired while he filled a place at the bursar's table at the Marischal College of Aberdeen, when, he said, if you did not move your jaws as fast as a pair of castanets, you were very unlikely to get anything to put between them. And as for the quantity of my food, be it known to this honourable company, continued the captain, that it's the duty of every commander of a fortress, on all occasions which offer, to secure as much munition and vivers as their magazines can possibly hold, not knowing when they may have to sustain a siege or a blockade. Upon which principle, gentlemen, said he, when a cavalier finds that provant is good and abundant, he will, in my estimation, do wisely to victual himself for at least 3 days, as there is no knowing when he may come by another meal. The laird expressed his acquiescence in the prudence of this principle, and recommended to the veteran to add a tass of brandy and a flagon of claret to the substantial provisions he had already laid in, to which proposal the captain readily agreed. When dinner was removed, and the servants had withdrawn, excepting the laird's page or henchman, who remained in the apartment to call for or bring whatever was wanted, or, in a word, to answer the purposes of a modern bellwire, the conversation began to turn upon politics and the state of the country, and Lord Menteith inquired anxiously and particularly what clans were expected to join the proposed muster of the King's friends. That depends much, my lord, on the person who lifts the banner, said the laird, for you know we Highlanders are not easily commanded by one of our own chiefs, or, to say the truth, by any other body. We have heard a rumour, indeed, that Colkitto, that is, young Colkitto, or Alistair MacDonald, is come over the Kyle from Ireland with a body of the Earl of Antrim's people, and that they had got as far as Arnamurchan. They might have been here before now, but I suppose they wanted to plunder the country as they came along. Will Colkitto not serve you for a leader then? Said Lord Menteith. Colkitto, said Admiral Corley, scornfully. Who talks of Colkitto? There lives but one man who we will follow, and that is Montrose. But Montrose, sir, said Sir Christopher Hall, has not been heard of since our ineffectual attempt to rise in the north. It is thought he has returned to the King at Oxford for further instructions. Returned, said Allen, with a scornful laugh. I could tell ye, but it is not worth my while. You will know soon enough. By my honour, Allen, said Lord Menteith, You will wear it out to your friends with this intolerable, froward and sullen humour. But I know the reason," he added, laughing. "I know the reason we have not seen Anna Lyle today." "Whom did you say I have not seen?" said Alan sternly. "Anna Lyle, the fairy queen of song and minstrelsy," said Lord Menteith. "Would to God I were never to see her again," said Alan, sighing, "on condition the same weird were laid on you." "And why on me?" said Lord Menteith carelessly. "Because," said Alan, "it is written in your forehead that you are to be the ruin of each other." So saying, he rose up and left the room. "Has he been long in this way?" said Lord Menteith, addressing his brother. "About 3 days," said Angus. "The fit is well nigh over. He will be better tomorrow. But come, gentlemen, don't let the tappet hen scraw be emptied. The King's health, King Charles's health, and may the covenanting dog that refuses it go to heaven by the road of the Grassmarket." The health was quickly emptied, and as fast succeeded by another, and another, and another, all of a party cast, and enforced in an earnest manner. Captain Dalgetty, however, thought it necessary to enter a protest. "Gentlemen cavaliers," he said, "I drink these healths primo, both out of respect to this honourable and hospitable roof-tree, and secundo, because I hold it not good to be precise in such matters inter pocula, but I protest, agreeable to the warrandis granted by this honourable lord, that it shall be free to me, notwithstanding my present complaisance, to take service with the Covenanters tomorrow, providing I shall be so minded." Macaulay and his English guests stared at this declaration, which would have certainly bred new disturbance, if Lord Menteith had not taken up the affair and explained the circumstances and conditions. "I trust," he concluded, "we shall be able to secure Captain Dalgetty's assistance to our own party." "And if not," said the laird, "I protest, as the captain says, that nothing that has passed this evening, not even his having eaten my bread and salt, and pledged me in brandy, Bordeaux or Usquebaugh, shall prejudice my cleaving him to the neck-bone." "You shall be heartily welcome," said the captain, "providing my sword cannot keep my head, which it has done in worse dangers than your feud is likely to make for me." Here Lord Menteith again interposed, and the concord of the company being with no small difficulty restored, was cemented by some deep carouses. Lord Menteith, however, contrived to break up the party earlier than was the usage of the castle, under pretext of fatigue and indisposition. This was somewhat to the disappointment of the valiant captain, who, among other habits acquired in the Low Countries, had acquired both a disposition to drink and a capacity to bear an exorbitant quantity of strong liquors. Their landlord ushered them in person to a sort of sleeping gallery, in which there was a 4-post bed with tartan curtains and a number of cribs or long hampers placed along the wall, 3 of which, well stuffed with blooming heather, were prepared for the reception of guests. "I need not tell your lordship," said Macaulay to Lord Menteith, a little apart, "our Highland mode of quartering, only that, not liking you should sleep in the room alone with this German landlooper, I have caused your servants' beds to be made here in the gallery. By God, my lord, these are times when men go to bed with a throat hale and sound as ever swallowed brandy, and before next morning it may be gaping like an oyster shell." Lord Menteith thanked him sincerely, saying it was just the arrangement he would have requested, for, although he had not the least apprehension of violence from Captain Dalgetty, yet Anderson was a better kind of person, a sort of gentleman, whom he always liked to have near his person. "I have not seen this Anderson," said Macaulay. "Did you hire him in England?" "I did so," said Lord Menteith. "You will see the man tomorrow. In the meantime, I wish you good night." His host left the apartment after the evening salutation, and was about to pay the same compliment to Captain Dalgetty, but observing him deeply engaged in the discussion of a huge picture filled with brandy posset, thought it a pity to disturb him in so laudable an employment, and took his leave without further ceremony or farther ceremony. Lord Menteith's two attendants entered the apartment almost immediately after his departure. The good captain, who was now somewhat encumbered with his good cheer, began to find the undoing of the clasps of his armour a task somewhat difficult, and addressed Anderson in these words, interrupted by a slight hiccup. "Anderson, my good friend, you may read in Scripture that he that putteth off his armour should not boast himself like he that putteth it on. I believe that is not the right word of command, but the plain truth of it is, I am like to sleep in my corslet, like many an honest fellow that never walked again, unless you unloose this buckle." "Undo his armour, Sibbald," said Anderson to the other servant. "By St. Andrew," said the captain, turning round in great astonishment, "here is a common fellow, a stipendiary with £4 a year, and a livery cloak, thinks himself too good to serve Ripmaster Dougal Dalgetty of Drumthwacket, who has studied humanities at Marischal College of Aberdeen, and served half the princes of Europe." "Captain Dalgetty," said Lord Menteith, whose lot it was to stand peacemaker throughout the evening, "please to understand that Anderson waits upon no one but myself, and I will help Sibbald to undo your corslet with much pleasure." "Too much trouble for you, my lord," said Dalgetty, "and yet it would do no harm to practise how a handsome harness is put on and put off. I can step in and out of mine like a glove. Only tonight, although not ebrius, I am, in the classic phrase, vino siboc gravitas." By this time he was unshelled, and stood before the fire, musing with a face of drunken wisdom on the events of the evening. What seemed chiefly to interest him was the character of Alan Macaulay. To come over the Englishman, so clever with his island torchbearers, 8 bare-breeched rories for 6 silver candlesticks. It was a masterpiece, a tour de passe. It was perfect legerdemain. And to be the madman after all, I doubt greatly, my lord, shaking his head, that I must allow him, notwithstanding his relationship to your lordship, the privileges of a rational person, and either batoon him sufficiently to expiate the violence offered to my person, or else bring it to a matter of mortal arbitrament, and becometh an insulted cavalier." "If you care to hear a long story," said Lord Menteith, "in fact I'll do this in part 2,